Facility opened in 1997. Past champions, we're talking about a championship here in Indy Lights. How about Ed Jones, Spencer Piggott, Gabby Chavez? Those names sound familiar. How about Joseph Newgarden and J.R. Hildebrand? Going back further, Scott Dixon, Oriol Servia, Tony Kanaan, Paul Tracy, Brian Hurtis. So, Nick, a championship is a stage setter, if you will, for perhaps greatness in the Verizon IndyCar Series.
I think you're absolutely right. We have seen some of the best young talents work their way up through the Mazda road to Indy, through Indy Lights, and ultimately racing on the big stage in the Verizon IndyCar Series. Davey Hamilton, we see these drivers pulling out of the racetrack here for a couple parade laps. Juan Pedrojita, the pole sitter of that bright yellow car for Team Pelfrey. What's the focus going to be getting into turn number one? Because certainly these drivers, they want to be competitive, but they got to take care of each other.
Well, one thing that Pedrojita needs to worry about is the guy outside of him, Urrutia. He is tough, man. He doesn't give up. But I'd say the pole position at this oval is definitely the best place to be, on the inside going down into turn one. So if he just gets a good start, gets the first guy down into turn one, I think he's got a good chance to keep the lead here. But I have to say, the momentum through 3 and 4 is the most important thing at this racetrack. So you have a lot of speed coming off of turn 4, going down this super long front straightaway, getting into turn 1.
75 laps or 60 minutes. That is the scheduled distance for this race here in the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. 8 of these drivers are rookies, 7 are veterans, all of them very, very talented. The field lined up 2 by 2. Juan Pedrojita is going to jump on the accelerator early, and we are going to see the green flag. So Pedrojita jumps to the advantage. Santi Urrutia runs second. They'll go side by side for the third spot. Points leader Kyle Kaiser on the outside. Nico Jamin on the inside.
Kaiser gets a great run down the banking at the exit of turn number 2. He'll grab that third spot. Meanwhile, Urrutia tries to set up Pedrojita. He's right at his tire tracks. Runs a half a groove higher now through 3 and 4.
Here come the leaders out of turn number 4. Santi Urrutia now gets right in the draft of Juan Pedrojita down the front straightaway, and we've got a yellow flag. One car is around exiting turn number 4. It's going to be a 3 or 4 car accident. We see 2 Belardi Auto Racing cars involved. That was Shelby Blackstock and the 9 of Aaron Telitz. We also see the 22 of Neil Alberico, who was slowed on the racetrack. David, we see some rear wing damage to that 9 of Aaron Telitz as he has come to a stop at the inside of turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he definitely lost the left side end fence to the rear wing. I can't tell if there's damage to the left rear. He's pulling away, pulling into the pits. We'll see what happens right now. We see, just at Blackstock, the 51 car just gets loose. His teammate just had nowhere to go. He gets sideways, gets into him. Wow, amazingly, I think the 9 car may be done, but I think the 51 car could continue on, and it was just trying to avoid him.
Rob Howden is on pit lane and joins us for this race. Rob, a lot of drivers getting sideways. Actually, we saw 2 separate incidents as Neil Alberico spun all by himself as well. A lot of those cars involved in that accident brought those machines to pit lane.
Yeah, right here, right now with Shelby Blackstock and Aaron Telitz to give you an update on damage. It's a flat left rear for Shelby Blackstock. They're putting a new tire on. They're already going to hit rolling already. Moving down here to Aaron Telitz, though, major damage to the rear wing. The whole end plate's off. Really big contact on the rear attenuator of that car as well. So someone might potentially backed it into the wall as well. But again, they're going to work here, Nick Yeoman, to see if they can't get Telitz back onto the racetrack. But wing damage #1 for that race car.
Davey, what's it tell you about these race cars or the racetrack? The fact that we saw 2 different drivers get sideways there in 3 and 4.
Well, I think the problem is on this particular racetrack, I think we should have went with a couple warm-up laps. We just did one time by and came to green. I don't think that was enough time to get heat into these tires at this particular racetrack just because it's so hard to do. So I kind of blame that on just maybe not enough, heat in these tires because they didn't have a lot of speed going down there, and the cars just, you see them, how much lack of grip there is right now with them sliding around. So unfortunately, it is what it is, but I have to think that was part of the issue.
Boy, a lot of rear wing damage to that 9 of Aaron Telitz, and just got a good shot of the front wing of the 22 of Neil Alberico. It looks like he has damage to that front wing as well. Michael Young, you are staring at that number 9 car of Aaron Telitz and can report more on the damage.
Yeah, all the crew guys just came around and said all of them are damaged. The front right upper.
Pedrojita, Kyle Kaiser is right there. We got one car wicked sideways. That's Zachary Clayman DeMello. He'll spin down to the inside, might have saved it, and we've got a quick yellow as another car further back at the exit of turn number 2 has spun and come to a stop as well. So Davey Hamilton, we've got some loose race cars. That was Garth Rickards who spun at the exit of turn number 2. This has not been a very clean start to this event.
Yeah, no, the whole key is right now is I'm telling you, it's heat in these tires and getting out of the line. You got to get heat in these tires before they come up to temperature and get maximum grip. And you see he went in on the second groove. He went in on the outside super hard, and just there's no grip up there right now, no heat in these tires. And boy, he's lucky he didn't overcorrect and come back on the track. But good news, it doesn't look like any damage to his car.
That was a miraculous save for Zachary Clayman DeMello as that car got sideways, spun to the inside of turn number 2, and then further back, his teammate Garth Rickards got sideways. So that's 3 Carlin Racing cars with, you count Alberico, who have been sideways to start this event. You talk about it, heating those tires, but could it also be a setup problem at all, Davey?
I don't think so. I think these guys, the cars should be pretty close. They shouldn't be that free this early on, and nothing. They're just not up to speed. Once they get up to speed and get tire temperature of these things, the cars will settle down. But it's taking just a little bit. This surface is so tricky. I know it's new pavement, but when you look at it, it looks wet, so it's very deceiving. And even though there's some rubber down on the bottom of this track, it is hard to get your tires up to temperature and get grip.
Anticipating this is going to be a pretty quick yellow, and we're going to get one to go at the line. Again, both cars that got sideways. The one that stopped with was Garth Rickards at the exit of turn number 2. And neither of those cars made any contact with the wall, so because of that, there's no debris to pick up. And thankfully, we'll be able to get back to going racing here very quickly. It's Juan Pedrojita, Santi Urrutia, Kyle Kaiser, the front 3. Nico Jamin runs in 4th. Colton Herta is 5th. Ryan Norman runs 6th. Nicholas DePero is 7th. Dalton Kellett is 8th. Mateus Lace 9th.
He is really playing games with him right now. Matter of fact, he might. It almost looks like he's nudging him a little bit as they get into turn number 4.
Yeah, these aren't stock cars. You can't really beat on a rear bumper, but Juan Pedrojita gets a nice jump, and we got a good battle for second. Championship leader Kyle Kaiser is going to test that outside groove. He'll go to the outside of Santi Urrutia, about a lane and a half up the racetrack. Mark James, he's going to make it stick off of turn 2.
Well, Kyle Kaiser must have heard me giving props to Santi Urrutia because he made quick work of him in turn number 2, and as you mentioned, did it to the high side. Pedrojita with a 3-car length advantage now off of turn number 4.
Boy, we got big problems towards the back of the field as we saw cars going 2 or 3 wide, side by side down the front straightaway. Mateus Lace to the outside. Nicholas DePero in that green and white car to the inside. That's about midway through the pack mark. They're going to run side by side through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, but front 4 are single file. Front 5, in fact. Now that battle you were watching shakes itself out just a little bit. The 31 of Nicholas DePero has that spot. And the whole gaggle of cars from about 10th place on back starting to stack up a little bit off of turn number 4.
Boy, Dalton Kellett way out of the groove exiting turn number 4, but he's able to slide that car back down in front of Ryan Norman. As Davey, these cars moving around a lot to begin this race, but finally it seems like we may be getting into some rhythm.
Yeah, I think now they have tire temperature, which is key, getting some heat in these tires. They got a little groove down, they're comfortable. Now they're just going to deal with the dirty air, and then they're on pace now to put on a new show.
Nice advantage, though, for Juan Pedrojita out of turn number 4 as the gap at the line is about 6 or 7 car lengths back to Kyle Kaiser. Another 4 or 5 back to Santi Urrutia as the leaders, Mark James, make their way out of turn 2.
Question is, Santi Urrutia, is he exercising some patience, something he hasn't been known for throughout the course of this season? He's keeping pace with Kyle Kaiser. Kaiser losing sight of Pedrojita a bit. It's about a 10-car length advantage as they enter turn 4.
Front 3 roar out of turn number 4 to complete lap number 12. Let's check in on pit lane with Rob Howden.
Yeah, guys, I'll tell you, you could have thought that maybe Kyle Kaiser would come into these last couple of races, especially the race here at Gateway, and say, you know what, I'm going to stay out of trouble, I'm going to run mid-pack, I'm going to get some open racetrack, I'm going to win this championship, I'm going to be easy here, I'm going to go to Watkins Glen, all I'm going to have to do is start the race, I'm going to win the championship. No, he goes around the outside of Santi Urrutia to take over the second position. Kyle Kaiser wants to clinch the championship here at Gateway, he wants to get the job done and to go around the outside side of Urrutia is something special.
But he doesn't have that second spot held down for long because Santi Urrutia is right there, Mark Janes, entering turn number 1. Had a great battle tightening up for second.
Really strong through turn number 2, and Kyle Kaiser shuts the door as they exit turn 2. Kaiser holds the advantage for now. He'll do so into turn number 3. Meanwhile, Pedrojita starts to pull out a little bit.
And now the battle for fourth picking up as Colton Herta is going to pop to the outside. They're going to run side by side. That's Herta and Jamin, Andretti Autosport teammates. Back up front, though, Urrutia looks to the inside, pops to the outside, now to the inside. Mark, good battle for second. Urrutia looks like he's going to grab it in turn 1.
Slipped around him at the entrance to turn number 1. Now set sail for Pedrojita. Pedrojita with about a 15-car length advantage now at the entrance to 3. All of a sudden, Kaiser hits the button. He wants that second spot back. Now he lifts a little bit going into turn number 4.
Maybe some good battling here early on. Juan Pedrojita comfortably 5 or 6 car lengths ahead, but for second, for fourth, and then further back, we see a lot of guys mixing it up early on.
Yeah, the good news, this track is looking good. That second group starting to come in. These guys are able to run up there. They don't want to be up there, but they can do it. And sometimes they can get advantage of it. So right now, great racing going on.
For Kyle Kaiser, battling with Santi Urrutia there at the racetrack. We're again only 16 laps in for a guy that's trying to wrap up a championship. Didn't seem like he really put up that much of a fight with him.
No, not really. I mean, in third place right now, he has a 38-point lead as we speak right now. So if he finishes there, this championship's done. So he's happy where he's at right now.
Here's how they run with 16 laps in the books. It's Juan Pedrojita, your leader. Santi Urrutia runs second. Kyle Kaiser is third. Nico Jamin got around Colton Herta, grabbed the fourth spot. Herta relegated to fifth. Nicholas DePero runs in the sixth spot. Mateus Laced is seventh. Dalton Kellett runs in eighth. Zachary Clayman-DeMello is ninth. Brian Norman rounds out the top 10. Leaders, Mark Janes, arcing their way into turn number 1.
DePero and Mateus Laced turning into a pretty good battle. That's the battle for the 6th position. It enters turn number 2 now. At the exit of turn number 2, Laced gets a pretty nice run at the exit of the banking at turn 2. Pulls through in a couple of car lengths now as they set up for turn 3.
Yeah, shouldn't be surprised by Mateus Laced charging from the back of the pack. He has 2 wins on ovals, one at the Bullring of Iowa Speedway and one at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway where he won the Freedom 100. He closes to within about 5 or 6 car lengths of Nicholas DePero as they roar into turn number 1. DePero right now, Mark Janes, about a 4 car length advantage over Laced.
Both just off the outside retaining wall at the exit of turn number 2. Laced wants to get a little bit of a draft, might be a little bit too far behind him to take advantage of that. Meanwhile, just in front of them off of turn number 4, He's all over the 27 machine of Nico Jamin into turn 1.
Herta in that white and blue car. Jamin in the red and silver car will roar out of turn number 2. Herta had that car pinned to the absolute low line through turns 1 and 2. And Davey, he's getting a great run on Jamin headed to turn 3.
They've been battling. These teammates been side by side. One time I seen Herta on the outside. The next time I seen him on the inside. Jamin he's the guy holding the line or holding the lead right now on Herta. But boy, they're close in speeds.
And the thing I'm noticing, Mark Janes, these drivers searching around using different grooves. Let's pick up that battle for fourth, exiting turn number 2.
Nico Jamin through 3 and 4, went to the bottom of the racetrack. Herta switched that, went to the high side. Herta chose the bottom, was able to shave the advantage off a little bit. Let's see if that works for Herta this time. Nope, he'll follow him to the bottom of the racetrack. Both exit the turn 3-4 area at about the same pace. Herta, though, gets a nice run off of turn number 4, closest within 3 car lengths.
Davey Hamilton, is there enough banking at this racetrack where you can get a run if you move up a groove or have
Not really. There is not enough, especially down there in 3 and 4, so you can't get up there and per se, triangle the track and get a run off. There's not enough banking to do that, but I have to say that Herta's line, if you can keep it on the bottom and make a shorter circle out of it, I think it's better off as long as you can keep the throttle down, and that's what we're seeing with Herta coming off of turn 4 right now. He's able to keep it lower. He's still on the throttle, so he gains some spots or some time on Japan.
22 laps of 75 in the books. Juan Pedrojita has led them all here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Santi Urrutia driving for Bilardi Auto Racing runs in second. Michael Young standing by with the car owner of that number 5 machine.
Hey, Brian, your second place driver right now, Santi Urrutia, putting on a heck of a show. Clearly he's hungry and wants to get another win. Have you had an opportunity to talk to him on the radio? What's he saying about the car?
He's not saying much right now, quite honestly. It's just it's more the spotter just coaching him along and keeping him more patient than anything right now.
Clearly an unfortunate incident early in this race. A story on Aaron Telitz. Will he continue or is he going to be done?
No, they're working hard to get that rear wing put back on it. That's too bad. He just got caught in another, well, our other team car was sliding, so they're going to get, looks like they're going to get him back out here probably in, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes.
Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
Brian Bellardi, team owner of this Bellardi Racing organization. Rob Howden, another comment on that?
Yeah, Michael, they are actually working feverishly. They tried to get one of the wings on here. The wing wasn't able to get on. They were struggling to get it actually onto position, so they went to a different wing for Aaron Telitz. Of course, having to make sure that it has the right wing angle as well. They've got the thing fully up to give him full downforce. They're just trying to get him back on the racetrack here to get him some more laps. But again, the crew rather, continuing to work on the car of Aaron Telitz to get him back out of the racetrack, Nick.
Good battle for the 6th position as Matthias Lace roared off of turn number 4. Looks like he's going to pull that pass off. So Lace grabs the spot from Nicholas DePero. Mark James as they roar out of turn 2.
Hit the button all of a sudden at the exit of turn number 4, and since he made the pass, he started to pull away a little bit. Meanwhile, just in front of them, Colton Herta continues to work little by little by little in the exit of turn number 4. That battle Herta's involved with in the 27 machine of Nico Jimin. That's not a quiet when Nick Herta makes a move into turn 1.
Boy, Herta got right up on the rear wing, had to take a look to the outside. I think it stalled his momentum just a bit.
Turn number 4, about a car length and a half as they head down the main straightaway.
Maybe these are teammates. They got to take care of each other, but boy, Colton Herta seems like he's got a fast car.
Yeah, he sure does. He definitely has a fast car right now. Ooh, as we see Chad Boat unfortunately getting lapped right now by the leaders. But I look at the speeds, and the Urrutia has the fastest laps almost every time. So he's definitely slowly gaining on Pedro Hita. But then he'll have one big slow lap and drops him back. But right now, you watch out because Herta also has one of those fast laps at a 157. But Leist, his last lap, 159.
That's a good point as we see the drivers running 3rd, 4th, and 5th trying to navigate around Chad Boat. Kyle Kaiser's already done it. Nico Jimin looks to the outside. Mark James looks like Colton Herta is going to get held up out of 2.
Yep, he does get held up, and he might lose a spot as a result. They're going almost 3 wide at the midway point of the back straightaway into turn number 3.
That's Matthias Lace, who may be the big winner here as he goes to the outside. They'll run side by side, exiting turn number 4. Still side by side. Drag racing down the front stretch. Lace is going to nose ahead and grab that spot, Mark James, as they roar into turn number 1.
Just a little stronger at the top of the racetrack. Herta has to sit there and watch him go by, although Colton gets out of sorts a little bit between 1 and 2, did all he could to keep it off the wall at the exit of turn number 2. That allows Lace to build up a comfortable advantage into turn 3.
David, Matthias Lace got a fast race car here at Gate.
Yes, he does. I mean, when you see those laps, as a matter of fact, he at 159, I see some of these speeds. It's pretty crazy. Our leader's in the 157 range. That last time by, 159, Zachary Clayman DeMello. How about that? He's coming up too, and right now in that 8th position.
And of course, Clayman DeMello, the driver that took one heck of a ride through the grass in turn number 2. Tell you what, Mark James, looking up towards the front of the field, Juan Pedro Hita is not stretching out that lead as Santi Urrutia is not letting him get away out of turn 4.
No, I don't know that he's closed the gap much in the last 4 or 5 laps, but he's not pulling away from him for sure. So you wonder now, is Urrutia just being patient, biding his time, taking care of those Cooper tires, and is going to get set over the last 20 laps or so to make a run? He can have that mindset if he'd like, Nick, because he's got a really comfortable advantage over the 3rd place running Kyle Kaiser.
Maybe as things settle down just a bit, it looks like the majority of the field has put Chad Boat a lap down. Chad Boat making his Indy Lights debut, a guy that races all over the country, short tracks. He's raced in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, the NASCAR Truck Series, 2nd generational talent. Billy Boats, his father, probably earning a little bit of respect with the way he's treating some of these other fast cars.
Yeah, you know what? Let me just assure you, this is not easy. It's his first time in this series, his first race. He's just being smart. He's learning these cars. It's not about him going out to see if he can run with these front runners, because he can. He definitely can. He has the talent to do it. But when you're your first time in these, you look at most of the guys, it's a steep uphill battle, especially when you don't have a lot of experience in merger cars.
Matthias Lace has already picked off one Andretti Autosport car. That was Colton Herta. He's got his sights set on another down the back straightaway.
Yep, he's got a good run on the 27 machine, and Nico Jimin knows he's there. Really good run into turn number 3. Matter of fact, so good, he didn't have enough room at the top of the racetrack and had to lift a little bit. That allowed his teammate Jimin to pull out a little bit, but here he comes storming back on the start-finish line.
Nico Jimin took a wide arcing angle out of turn number 4, and now he'll swing it wide to get into turn number 1. Again, it's Pedro Hita, and then about 4 or 5 car lengths back to the 5 of Santi Urrutia, then our championship leader, and then probably the best battle on the racetrack. Here comes Mateus Lace. He's going to pop to the outside. Mark Janes trying to get a run on Nico Jamin.
As they run nose to tail, they appear to start to run Kyle Kaiser down. Kaiser doesn't have nearly the advantage that he had with his firm grasp on that 3rd position. Meanwhile, the teammates go at it again into turn number 1.
That navy blue and orange for Carlin Racing's Mateus Lace. Davey Hampton watching him move around the racetrack. He's trying to find different grooves to get around Nico Jamin.
Yeah, you know what? It's what a great race right now. These guys, these top 10 guys, really are laying down some fast laps and get up. They're learning how to run this dirty air in this tricky oval, and like I say, it's an oval road course mix because of the shifting that you have to do. But right now, Lace, he's putting the pressure on Jamin right now.
Lace is close within a couple car lengths. They roar through turns 1 and 2. 39 laps to go. Rob Howden, of course, lots of action on track, but we are keeping our eye on those point standings as well.
Yeah, you know, Nick, coming in here when we sat down to do the calculations to try to project where drivers needed to be, where Santi Urrutia or Coulter needed to be to get a chance to win this championship, maybe pry it away from Kyle Kaiser. It was all about getting maximum points, 33 points. You needed to put the car on the pole. You needed to get fast lap of the race, lead the most laps. You needed to win the race. But right now, Urrutia doing the best. He's running 2nd, but remember, Pedro Hita was able to get the pole position. There's that bonus point. He continued to lead here. If he leads past the halfway point, there's that bonus point gone. Of course, Urrutia can continue to push hard to try to get fast lap of the race. He does need to win here to get those full 30 points. As we go right by halfway now, that bonus point's now gone. The bottom line is here, Urrutia is doing everything he can, but he's watching some of those points fall away, Nick. And really, the bottom line comes down to the fact with Kyle Kaiser running in 3rd position. He is in a spot to clinch this championship here at Gateway.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, by my calculations for Kyle Kaiser as he runs in 3rd, for Santi Urrutia, he has to win and get both of those bonus points for fastest lap and most laps led. So you're absolutely right, Rob Howden. Urrutia is about to lose that opportunity to score one of those other bonus points, and if that is the case, then for him to stay alive, Kyle Kaiser is going to have to get past. Michael Young, you've got more on this thing.
Yeah, just an observation, Nick. You think back to Mid-Ohio, and it just seemed like Kyle Kaiser was trying to be conservative, ran in the back, nearly got in contact with a couple of cars, almost had a couple of incidents, and for him today, he just came out and was very aggressive, got to that 2nd position, allowed Urrutia to get back around. But this is the Kyle Kaiser we're used to seeing all this 2017 campaign. This is what has got him the points lead, and he's making best use of it running up front today.
Good battle for the lead shaping up. Mark Janes down the back straightaway as Juan Pedro Hita now has his rear view mirrors full of the driver from Uruguay, Santi Urrutia.
Urrutia really hit the button at the exit at turn number 2. He runs about a half a groove higher, sees if he can get a little momentum down the main straightaway. About a 3-car length advantage for Juan Pedro Hita.
And at turn number 1, that gap is about 2 or 3 car lengths. Things tightening up for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, as well as Kyle Kaiser holds down that spot, but Nico Jamin is catching him up front. Urrutia within a car length into turn number 3.
Really good run into turn number 3, looking for some room to the high side of the racetrack. Runs about a half a groove higher. He stays in the throttle, looks for a little momentum at the exit at turn number 4. They're nose to tail down the main straightaway.
Urrutia got a good run out of turn number 4, right up underneath the rear wing. He'll pop to the inside. They'll go side by side into turn number 1, and Urrutia will slip around Juan Pedro Hita and grab the lead headed down the backstretch.
Pedro Hita sees him sail away. Juan tries to come storming back at the midway point of the back straightaway, but because of the fact he forced Pedro Hita up high between 1 and 2, he lost a little momentum. He felt the car get loose. He might have lifted a little bit, and that allowed him to complete the move. Santi Urrutia at the start-finish line into turn number 1 now.
Now the battle for 3rd picking up as Kyle Kaiser has fallen into the grasp of Nico Jamin, and this has tons of championship implications. 3-car battle down the back straightaway, Mark Janes for 3rd.
Yep, Laced is there, and Herta is trying to keep pace with that bunch. They entertain thoughts to go 3 wide to the entrance to turn turn 3. Lace wants the high side, but it's not available to him. He'll try to stay in the throttle, maybe work it back to the low side to gain some momentum. While they slice and dice, Kyle Kaiser pulls away into turn number 1.
Jamin and Lace moving all over the racetrack. They moved all the way down to the pit wall as Jamin tried to protect the 4th position, but Lace has got a good run out of turn 2. Close to within a half of a car length. Mark Hill popped to the outside.
Again, Herta tries to keep pace, but can't. They go side by side. High side is Mateus Lace. They come awfully close to touching. Lace stays in the throttle, but he sees to the bottom of the racetrack. The 27 machine starting to pull away. Now, they'll go side by side again into turn number 1.
Boy, they are absolutely fighting tooth and nail. Mateus Lace in that blue car on the outside. Nico Jamin, the Frenchman, in that red and silver car. Back down this back straightaway. Can Lace take a look to the inside? No, Jamin will protect. They'll go side by side again into turn 3.
Jamin to the bottom of the racetrack. Lace to the high side. Car not as comfortable there. He lifts a little bit. Now that allows Colton Herta to...
on the rear wing, and that car stalled in the middle of the corner. And Mark Janes, here comes Zachary Clayman DeMello. We've got another player in this mid-pack battle for 3rd through about 7.
High side because of its tight radius, not comfortable for any of these cars. Santi Arrucia starts to pull away. Pedrojita does as well. Kaiser pulled away for a while in that 3rd position, but now that Nico Jamin has kind of broken free from that battle he was in, Nick, he's starting to pull up on Kyle Kaiser.
Things settle down back on the back straightaway by about 3 or 4 car lengths. Those cars all separated up front, though, Davey. Boy, Santi Arrutia, after he took the lead, has flat checked out on Juan Pedrojita.
Yeah, he's running about 1 mile an hour faster per lap than Pedrojita, but fastest lap of the race. How about that? Zachary Clayman DeMello runs in 7th. He's working on Herta right now, but he has the fastest lap of the race at a 1:59.8. Those are qualifying speeds.
And that, of course, there's a bonus point on the line for that distinction as well. Kyle Kaiser right now has the championship lead, but Marky's got his hands full. Nico Jamin to the inside.
He's to the bottom of the racetrack. Kaiser to the high side. Kaiser tries to hold on, keep the spot. He can't do it, though. The car washes up a little bit. And as that happens, that allows those behind him to stack up a little bit. Lace is there. Herta trying to keep pace. Now Kaiser comes back to the high side, but Jamin shuts the door into turn number 1.
And with that pass, that opens up the championship battle once again. Kaiser, though, can't worry about that because he's trying to hold on to the 4th spot. Here comes Lace. He'll pop to the inside. Another side-by-side battle into turn 3.
Again, we think Kaiser's going to lose this battle, and he does because his car gets out of sorts going into turn number 3. That allows a couple of cars to stack up behind him. Colton Herta among them. Now all are back in the throttle now. So your points leader under full assault. 2 cars all over him into turn number 1.
Boy, they nearly went 3 wide into turn 1 as Zachary Clayman DeMello slides up the racetrack, nearly makes contact with Colton Herta. He will grab that spot down the back straightaway. That's going to give a little bit of breathing room for Kyle Kaiser, but Mark, I don't think it's going to be for very long into turn 3.
No, not real comfortable already, in fact, Nick, as they come off of turn number 4. Kaiser sees that advantage he had while they were dicing it up, shrink down to just a couple of car lengths. Zachary Clayman DeMello, Colton Herta, all over the points leader into turn number 1 again.
Davey, with 24 laps to go, it looks so good for Kyle Kaiser. Now all of a sudden his work is cut out for him.
Well, it is, but right now he still has a 29-point lead, so huge lead, but like I say, car's not doing what he wants it to do. He's losing some spots. He's potentially losing 2 more spots coming up.
Back to pit lane and Rob Howden.
Yeah, Nick, I just want to add that, throughout this season, knowing that we were coming to Gateway, there was a lot of questions. How is this racetrack going to be for Indy Lights? How is it going to race? I'll tell you, that has been answered in spades right now. Unbelievable racing. Of course, we're all down here on pit lane. Everyone's cringing every time they go 2 or 3 wide into turn number 1. We got our answer. Gateway's an amazing racetrack for Indy Lights.
And kudos to these great race fans here in the St. Louis metro area and all of the Midwest that made their way to Gateway Motorsports Park. So many race fans have been clamoring. They want to see open wheel racing back here in St. Louis, and they are being treated. This another one of the undercards. This is the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires. These are the future stars of the Verizon IndyCar Series. And one day you're going to see a handful of these drivers not only competing in the Indianapolis 500, but the future editions of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 here at Gateway. It is Santi Arrutia, the driver from Uruguay, with a nice 1.3 second advantage as he streaks across the line. 21 laps to go. been keeping our eye, Mark Janes, on our points leader, Kyle Kaiser. He has opened this championship battle back up. He also opened up the inside for Zachary Clayman-DeMello, trying to hold on to that fifth spot down the backstretch.
Yep, off of turn number 2 now. Kyle Kaiser pretty much running all by his lonesome. He has a little bit of breathing room over Clayman-DeMello. All 3 of them are attacking Chad Boat now. Boat has made some friends tonight for sure. His race car is off the pace, but he's staying to the bottom of the racetrack, holding a consistent line. Doing so, though, allows Clayman-DeMello some room to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side into 1.
Wheel to wheel, side by side through turns 1 and 2. The points leader pinned to the outside. Zachary Clayman-DeMello on the inside. They'll stay side by side as they race into turn number 3.
Herta is the interested spectator, about 3 car lengths back. For now, the advantage to the high side, Kyle Kaiser. His car's been pretty comfortable most of the night to the high side. Can't say that about everybody else. They're stuck together side by side into 1.
Like a pair of magnets on a Saturday night under the lights here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Kaiser keeps that car pinned to the outside. Good run for Zachary Clayman-DeMello. They get awful tight racing down the back straightaway. Kaiser may have to give that spot up, Mark Janes, into turn 3.
He was losing room to the high side, and he saw Clayman-DeMello slip in front of him. The car gets out of sorts now going into turn number 3. That opens up the door for Colton Herta. Clayman-DeMello sails away. Herta's all over the points leader now as they get to the start-finish line.
Herta looks to the inside with 18 laps to go. He'll pop to the inside, puts the left side tires right along that red and white curbing. Nice run out of turn number 2. He's all over the rear wing of the points leader.
At times, Kaiser looks good to the high side in 1, but other times not so much. This time, he opens up the bottom of the racetrack for Colton Herta. Now he makes a strong move off of turn number 4, wants to hold on to that spot. We'll see if Herta has an advantage off of 4. Right now, it appears to belong to Kyle Kaiser. Slips in front of him into 1.
Davey, these are tense moments for a guy trying to wrap up a championship. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to clinch it tonight. He needed to leave with a 34-point advantage. The other number to look at, though, was to keep a 26-point lead. Then all he'd have to do is start the race at Watkins Glen. But boy, it has not been easy, as it almost seems like there's an anchor out back in that 18 car here within the middle portions of the
Well,
race.
and like I say, if he just has to start that race, it's basically over. Right now, it's 27-point lead, so that's exactly what he have to do. So basically, it's wrapped up because you know he's going to be there to start. But you know what? He's got one more car all over him, and that's Colton Herta. And with 16 laps to go, he's got a lot of work to keep in mind.
Well, one Mazda Road to Indy race in the books already. An impressive run for Victor Franzoni, Rob Howden, as he visited Victory Lane, as he continues to chase after a championship so that he might be able to compete in this Indy Light Series.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be going to Watkins Glen for the Pro Mazda Championship, Nick. A 2-point advantage leaving Gateway. A fantastic win for you, Victor Franzoni. You have to be absolutely thrilled with that victory today.
Was great. Now we are leading for 2 points. Now it's time to think in win again and try to do the same in Watkins Glen. If we won both races, of course, we're going to win the championship. So now that's our focus and it's what we're going to work for.
You guys rolled the dice a little bit, got rid of some of the downforce. You laid that rear wing down, gave you lots of shoot speed. Must have been a handful of the drive, rather.
Yeah, it was great. We had to try something to win and work. It was unbelievable over here. I was drifting. It was not even a normal oval for me, but it was cool. I could finish the race and finish first.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nick Yeoman, another driver to watch. Victor Franzoni, going to try to go for a championship, which would give him the scholarship to run Indy Lights next year.
Yeah, hope to see both Franzoni and Anthony Martin competing. And we've got an issue in turn number 1, a yellow flag. We got a 3-car accident as a bunch of cars pinned up against the outside wall. One of them in the middle is Chad Boat. We see Garth Rickards involved and Neil Alberico. Davey, not sure exactly what happened there. All 3 of those drivers going to pop those steering wheels off as we've got a 3-car accident.
Wow.
The exit of turn number 2 with 13 to go here at Gateway.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened, but 2 teammates, unfortunately, in that wreck. But Boat kind of sandwiched in between them. All the cars are touching. Here's going to be a replay right now. We see Boat going down in the bottom. And, oh, really? We got the 22.
Alberico.
Yeah, Alberico. He just, kind of ran over Chad. Chad was on the bottom going in there. Obviously a lap car, but just didn't give enough room and just ran right over the back of him.
So, again, trying to get around the lap car of Chad Boat. Contact between Boat and Alberico, and then Rickards, it looks like he just couldn't get slowed down, Davey, and ran right into the back of Chad Boat's car. And those two got hooked up heading up towards the wall.
Yeah, exactly right. Chad, he got ran over by one car, then speared by the other one. Not a fun way to start start his Indy Lights career off, but really nothing of his doing. He was staying out of the way. He was on the bottom where he needed to be, and they just didn't give him enough room and just ran right over him.
So tough break for three talented young drivers that were struggling tonight. There's no doubt about that. As Garth Rickards, Neil Alberico, Chad Boat, none of those three drivers looked like they had what it took to compete and win this race. But boy, you hate to tear up race cars right there at the end of a race, Davey. With 12
yeah, it's very unfortunate, and just one of those situations where really kind of unnecessary to have happen too this late in the race.
Well, one of the first incidents that we saw on the opening lap took Aaron Tielitz out of the race. Michael Young, he will finish 15th tonight. You're standing by with him on pit lane.
I've seen Aaron Tielitz very racy, but there's not a worse feeling than just sitting in the cockpit of your car. Your crew did a bang-up job trying to get you back in there, just ultimately too much damage. Walk us through what happened out there.
The Bilardi Auto Racing guys obviously did an awesome job to get my car back ship shape. We could get back out there, but obviously better to let these guys race from here. We had a really good start, got a little loose in the middle of 1 and 2, and that gave pretty much the rest of the field a run on me, so I fell back a ways. And then getting into 3 and 4, I was on the outside, and Shelby got loose, and I could see him getting loose. And when I tried to check up to go down, my car was loose, and there was somebody on the bottom of me, so I couldn't go low either, and I just ended up kind of sliding up into him and then backwards into the wall after that. So tough way to not even really start the day or end the day there. That was rough.
Yeah, it certainly was. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, a rough one for Aaron Tielitz. Obviously had a quick car. All the Bilardi Auto Racing cars have been quick this weekend, but not so for that young driver, but certainly many great years of auto racing for that Aaron Tielitz driver down the road.
Working our third full course caution here at Gateway Motorsports Park. This is the Indy Lights Series presented by Cooper Tires on the Advanced Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network. My name is Nick Yeoman. Happy to be joined by Davey Hamilton here in the booth. Davey, we talked about it. Rob mentioned right at the beginning of the show that we anticipated some good racing, and this has certainly lived up to the expectations. We've seen a lot of the guys, the fast guys, able to charge from the back of the field. It's put on a good show here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I just seen one of Kaiser's crew guys go out to the pit wall. Kaiser came down low, and he was inspecting his car, so I'm not sure if maybe a tire's going down or there could be some damage, but it looks like he's coming in maybe for a left rear tire going down, and that could explain why. No, that's
his
DePero.
teammate,
That's his teammate coming in. So, it'd be good to talk to his crew just to make sure everything's okay.
And at the very least, this could be a roll of the dice for DePero if they decide to change tires. If we can get this race restarted, he may be a guy that can charge to the front of the field.
Yeah, you never know, because it just depends on how many laps. I guess that was DePero they were looking at, yep, his teammate. So just depending on how many laps, it's 10 to go right now. Man, there may only be a couple laps left once this mess gets cleaned up down there in turns 1 and 2 with 3 cars being stacked up there. It's taking them a little while to clean up the mess. So who knows? This could even finish under checker, to be honest with you, or under yellow. We'll see.
Rob Houghton, tell us about the changes we saw to Nicholas DePero's car.
Yeah, guys, just rolled in here and went straight front tires. That was it. Didn't do the rears, actually did the fronts. But we're going red flag here right now, guys. An issue. But again, just to update you, DePero, just the front tires. I'll see if I can have a look at the tire itself, but just fronts for Nico DePero.
Davey Hamilton, you like that call? Red flag, give all the folks here that made their way at the Gateway a good chance to see a run to the finish?
If I'm Urrutia and Pedrohita, no.
Those guys
there
don't
to
wanna
go.
see it.
But as a fan, and you know what, you won this thing. I think Urrutia has this thing well in hand. But you like to see the race keep. You hate red flags sometimes, but hey, it's a benefit for some, a disadvantage for others. So, but the best is this. Look at all the people in the grandstands today. Just fabulous how many people. And look at the traffic on the outside still coming in. It's just a great job promoting this race. A lot of people there. So these fans in the stands, they want to see this thing in under green.
And I'm going to speculate, I'm going to guess that the problem over there in turn 2 is we saw Boat and Rickards get hooked together, and I imagine that's going to take some hardware for the folks in the Homatro safety team to get those cars pulled apart, which would have taken way more longer than 10 laps of caution.
They were stuck. Like you said, it actually pierced the back of Boat's car, and there was like one car. They would not pull apart from each other, so we'll see how the safety crew is going to have to do a little work, maybe even take the nose off of one of those cars to get them untangled.
Mark Janes, I'm keeping your spot warm for now here in the booth, but you've got a bird's eye view as you are amongst, I'm guessing, thousands and thousands of new friends here in the St. Louis area. What a crowd here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
More and more coming in as we speak, Nick. We look out to the interstate system off of the distance above turn number 2, and it is double filed all the way in from both directions coming into the racetrack. It wraps into the entrance and all the way around turns 3 and 4 to our rear as we look at the skyline of the city of St. Louis and the fabulous iconic Gateway Arch. We see the parking lots continue to fill up. Thousands of fans milling in the village below, listening to music and the entertainment, grabbing their favorite souvenirs, and also sampling the wares of those providing the great food here tonight. Just a fabulous atmosphere and a job well done. It's been 364 days plus in the making for these folks, but if initial indications give us any idea, we're in for one whale of a night. And congratulations to all of the folks here at Gateway Motorsports Park and the Bommarito Auto Group. Job well done. The Verizon IndyCar Series and racing as a whole, open wheel variety, is alive and well in the great city of St. Louis.
Mark Janes, while I've got you, let's talk a little bit about the main event. You will have the call of the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Will Power picked up career pole number 50 yesterday. He's got some pretty hungry teammates, though, all around him to start this race. All 4 of those Team Penske cars are going to make up the front 2 rows, have a shot still to win the Verizon IndyCar Series Championship.
Well, 40-some-odd points separate the top 5. Will Power the furthest back of those 5, some 41 points back. And Graham Rahal mathematically eligible at 74 points back. More than that are mathematically eligible, but it's a big mountain for them to climb. But to be perfectly honest with you, Nick, I think if I'm the rest of the field, the one guy that concerns me the most is your pole sitter. Let's face it, sometimes Lady Luck smiles upon you. She did just that for Will Power at Pocono, coming back from an unbelievable set of circumstances to dominate and win that race. He backs it up by knocking his teammate off the pole in qualifying last night, and I think Will Power has the jaw locked in his quest for another championship. It would be his second. He may be the favorite tonight here at Gateway.
So that, of course, is coming up. The main event of the evening, the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, presented by Valvoline here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Work continues to clean up the accident, 3-car accident in turn number 2. We see one of those cars lifted up on a crane being taken off the racetrack down the back straightaway. Let's get a check-in with a couple of our pit reporters, Rob Howden and Michael Young. Done a great job tonight. Rob Howden, keeping an eye, taking a look at some of the tires down there on these cars. Of course, all of these teams run Cooper Tires, the title sponsor of this series.
Yeah, we're obviously in a red flag situation, so while the teams can't actually physically touch the car, they can inspect. They are diving all over looking at the tires on these cars, and that's because there was an issue with Nico DePero. That tire issue he had actually delaminated some of the tire. Big chunks right out of the middle of one of the front tires. They, of course, had to bring him in and made the changes. So everybody kind of knows that's happening right now. They're all looking at the tires, and both Michael Young and I walking up the entire length of the pit lane here with all the cars. Everybody else, to me, Michael Young, seems like they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, indeed they do. I only see 1 or 2 cars that potentially will have issues. We won't mention who those drivers are for fear that we would play a little hand that we don't necessarily want to do. But other than that, all these drivers and all these Cooper tires look extremely good. You must remember, they do start to finish 75 laps, so these Cooper tires so very, very durable, and with this new racing surface so very hard on these tires, hats off to the Cooper tire folks. They always, Nick Gilman, do a great job.
So, again, working a red flag here with 9 laps to go for those die-hard IndyCar, Indy Lights fans that have been paying attention to this championship all season long. Just 1 race remaining after this, and Kyle Kaiser came into this weekend, the driver running in the 6th position in that green and white number 18 for Juncos Racing. He had a chance to clinch the championship if he left with a 34-point advantage. As of right now, it is only 27. That would be good enough, Davey Hamilton, to win him the championship, but he would have to start the race at Watkins Glen. And I know ultimately those guys would love to be able to celebrate tonight, but just hasn't seemed like it's been in the cards for Kyle Kaiser.
Yeah, as I say, don't ever celebrate until it happens. You never know. He's going to start that race pretty positive, but you never know. Does that transporter have a problem get there? Who knows, right? So it's 27 points right now in the lead. He's pretty much got the thing locked up, but would he like to gain a spot or 2 right now and really lock it up? Absolutely, but we'll just see what happens on this restart, because as we were watching, Herta was the one pressuring him more than he was pressuring the car in front of him, Clement DeMello.
Well, this morning after qualifying, we talked to the young driver from California who, as we talked about, may be just a week away from winning his first Indy Lights championship, and we asked him to take us with him in the cockpit on a lap around this fantastic racetrack here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Yeah, so coming to start-finish, car's probably somewhere middle of the road. You start tracking back right about the start-finish line, setting up for turn 1. you're going to enter turn 1 pretty high. It's tightest corner on the track, so you want to come in as high as you can, hold it up there for a while, and then swing it down pretty hard. You got a lot of banking through 1 and 2. Apex right around the middle of the corner. You can only hold it there for a second because the car wants to push out. So you're probably tracking up really quick. Wall's coming at you quick, so you got to stay in it. Tracking out right to the edge of the wall, and then same thing down the back straightaway. Let the car drift to about the middle of the road. Just free it up. Coming into turn 3, you want to set up a little bit later than you did coming into turn 1, and then just smooth with the wheel. It's a little bit flatter, less banking through 3 and 4. So you want to keep the car as free as possible, smooth with the wheel. Least amount of car getting scrubbed off, so you keep it free, run all the way out to the wall, and then come to start finish.
That is the championship leader, Kyle Kaiser, taking you on a ride around Gateway Motorsports Park. As this racetrack, very tricky, and we've seen all drivers in the Indy Lights Series and IndyCar and the Verizon IndyCar Series navigate this racetrack with precision, but also precaution because they are turning some incredible speeds around this racetrack. Just got word about 3 minutes away from refiring the engines, I should say, on pit lane. Mark Janes, you've moved up to the spotter stand. You're standing by with a guy who has competed many times in the Indy Lights Series and has a pretty cool announcement, some great news at the end of this IndyCar season.
Yeah, spotting tonight, but next week he'll be in the race car at Watkins Glen. Had a chance to shake hands with him, congratulate him on the way up tonight. Again, let me echo that again. Congratulations, Jack Harvey.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about this deal with Schmidt-Peterson Motorsport, piloting the number 7 through the final 2 races. Been working on that for a while?
Yeah, I mean, we got a call from the team after Mikhail's situation started to escalate a little bit, and it was a situation where we needed them to figure out exactly what they were doing, and then obviously we saw the announcement he wouldn't be in the car, and I mean, honestly, at that point, the conversation picked up at a fair rate of knots, and they offered it to us, and, you know, who wouldn't want to do 2 races, especially at Watkins Glen and Sonoma?
Yeah, 2 great facilities, 2 iconic facilities for sure. So what have you been doing? I'm sure people want to know, after you've had that much time off since the Indianapolis 500, what have you been doing to keep yourself in quote-unquote driving shape?
I mean, honestly, just do the usual stuff. I've been obviously in the gym, doing a lot of reaction training. I've still been at all the tracks. I've been coaching Neil Alberico this year, and gutted for him that the race ended like that today. And I mean, honestly, trying to stay as race ready as possible is quite tough when you're not in the car, but I feel ready for the opportunity. I've got to thank the team for giving it to me, my primary sponsors in SiriusXM and AutoNation. We're just going to go and try and do the best results we can.
Let's talk a little bit about this race. Kyle Kaiser, you've been in a points championship battle before. Little pressure. He could have wrapped it up tonight, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Yeah,
I mean, if I was Kaiser, I wouldn't be putting myself under pressure to wrap it up here. He can drive a sensible race and go to the Glen with a comfortable lead. I think that'll be my mindset. You know, I've been on the receiving end of it, not going very well, but you know, I wish all the guys the best of luck today.
A lot of folks very happy for you. We're among those. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
That's Jack Harvey.
Jack Harvey will get to compete in the final 2 Verizon IndyCar Series races for Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports at Watkins Glen and Sonoma. That's down the road, though, Davey. We've still got quite a bit of racing tonight, though. 9 laps to go. We're about to fire the engines here momentarily for this Indy Lights Series race presented by Cooper Tires. When we go back to green, going to have 2 laps to get those cars back up to speed before we see the green flag. Both of those laps will be counted, so we're looking at about 6 or 7 lap shootout here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Yeah, which is enough. I mean, they're going to lay it down. It's going to be a close race right down to the end, I'll guarantee it, not just for the lead, but all the way down through the field. We still have 11 cars on track right now, and in 11th, it's Shelby Blackstock. He's a lap down, but DePero in 10th, he's on that lead lap. You know, from 1st to 10th, it's going to be a shootout.
Rob Howden, how about the thoughts of the car owner for Kyle Kaiser as, again, they are moments away from putting themselves in position to just need to start the final race at Watkins Glen with this championship?
Ricardo Yoko's Kyle Kaiser looked really good out of the box, went to 2nd. I was thinking, you know what, running around 3rd, he might clinch this championship here. He's fallen back a little bit. They were able to eat him up a bit, but right now, still in a good position to essentially go to Watkins Glen, and all you're going to have to do is just start the race.
Yeah, but still 8 laps to go, so we see what happened. The car, I think, is a little bit difficult to drive in the last 10 laps. Probably this maybe help us, maybe not, who knows. So we'll see what happened. I mean, he's doing a great job no matter what happened, I think.
Are you on the radio telling him that, just reminding him that he doesn't need to really perform? All he's got to do is put a good effort in, get another top 10, and you're going to go to Watkins Glen with a shot at the title.
Yeah, exactly. And also we have great spotters, and we have a plan, so everything is smooth and nice, and we are just executing what we have. It's a very difficult track. You see many crashes, so we're gonna be smart here.
Hey, good luck.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, the guys, this team, man, when they made their debut in this program with Spencer Pigot, they were able to win the championship. You can hear it in Ricky's voice. They want to get this championship done again. They want to execute. They know what they have to do. They don't have to win races here. All they've got to do is stay out of trouble, and Kyle needs to get a couple of good finishes, and he's going to find himself as the Indy Lights champion for 2017.
Thank you so much, Rob Howden. Field reset. It's Santi Urrutia, Juan Pedrohita, Nico Jamin, Mateus Lace, Zachary Clamanamelo, and Kyle Kaiser. That's the top 6. Mark Janes down the back straightaway. We're a half a lap away from restarting this race with 7 to go.
Yeah, we'll see Urrutia if he has the pace off of turn number 4. It'll be interesting once he clears that commitment cone, how quickly he gets into the throttle. If you remember, he had a couple of shots at Pedrohita at the start of this race, but caution's got in the way of him completing the pass. We'll see if we get a clean restart here, with just a handful of laps remaining at Gateway.
Santi Urrutia jumps on the accelerator out of turn number 4, and we are going to go back racing here with 7 to go. Good battle for third as Lace looks to the outside. Zachary Clamanamelo has 5th. He's searching all over the racetrack, but now the battle is for the lead. Juan Pedrohita around the outside, and we've got problems. Nico Jamin around. Ryan Norman is around. Pedrohita made the pass, but it looks like we may get a caution. We will here at Gateway Motorsports Park, Davey, as Nico Jamin sits helplessly in the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Well, I have to think when the yellow comes out, the position that you're in is where you're going to be. And the 27 car, unfortunately, Jamin, he was running in that third spot, throwing stuff out of the car, but he probably needs to just let him tow him off. He's not in that bad of shape to keep this race going, but I have to say that I'm surprised that Urrutia is showing the leader. It should be Pedrohita at this point, so we'll see.
So we're getting word that they might have waved him by, and we see Jamin kind of high-centered there. Getting a good chance to look at the replay, Dave. Boy, Jamin was sideways before even getting the apex at 1 and 2.
Oh, wow. I mean, when he got sideways, cars going all over the place. How he didn't collect somebody or get collected is amazing, because he had cars, I mean, all over him. And Herta, he took a big advantage and gained a lot of positions in that position. He went from 7th to 4th on that. It's still showing Urrutia as the leader, but I think Pedrohita is going to be is going to be the leader, I think.
Rob Howden, you've got more on pit lane.
Yeah, as they roll by here, Nick, I can see the flag stand, the starter up there actually waving him by, telling Pedrohita to go ahead of Urrutia. So he actually did that, I believe, on the racetrack already. They were waving him from pit lane, but again, just amazing, the replay. We saw that, what, evasive maneuver for Zachary Clamanamelo as well, not to get collected, and then almost into Kyle Kaiser as well. I'm still standing here with the Juncos team. Guys, they were jumping up in the air like just, I couldn't believe what happened. They all settled each other down when they saw that Kyle was able to make it through cleanly.
Yeah, that could have very easily been maybe a 4 or 5 car accident, because I don't know how Jamin didn't sideswipe Mateus Lace in third. And then as Rob talked about, Clamanamelo got sideways. Ryan Norman got, he spun and somehow saved it.
Yeah, it was a crash, but it didn't happen. So yeah, it was amazing that, like we said, he didn't collect somebody or somebody didn't collect him. Now they got the car off the strips. They should be able to fire him up, but he's unbuckled, threw his head pads out, stuff. But the car doesn't really look that damaged. So we'll see what happens here with Pedrohita leading this thing. How many laps we got?
There's 5 to go.
5 to go. It's going to be 4 this time by. Probably going to be 2 or 3 when it comes out. But is it better? Is it better to be leading, or is it better to be second in this position right now? We'll soon find out.
Yeah, we saw Pedrohita get a great run into turn number 1. We'll see if Santi Urrutia can return the favor as we get word. We're going to get 1 to go here at the line, so we're going to restart with 3 laps to go. And tell you what, Mark Janes, for Juan Pedrohita, it was a fantastic pass into turn number 1, but this is a young man that has never won an Indy Lights race. What a big moment this could be. Always love to see first-time winners in any series.
Yep, got a ton of starts in his couple of years in the Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires, Pro Mazda before that, and yeah, he's got his work cut out for him for sure.
Juan Pedrohita to the inside. He'll get a good run out of turn number 4 to see the green flag. Fans jump to their feet, Mark Janes, as Pedrohita is going to lead him into turn number 1. Kyle Kaiser looks like he's taking a look to the outside of Colton Herta.
Car got out of sorts. Herta pulls away. Urrutia with a strong run through 1 and 2. He is right to the rear of the car of Pedrohita. Looks for some room to the high side. Now finds some room to the bottom. They go side by side into 3.
They are going to go side by side through turn 3. Juan Pedrohita on the outside. Santi Urrutia on the inside. Can he make it stick out of turn 4? He will. Pedrohita's got a good run side by side. 2 to go into turn number 1.
Bang wheels at the start-finish slide, and look for now as though Pedrojita has a bit of an advantage. Now he has to lift a little bit to the high side. That allows Urrutia to get the advantage off at turn number 2.
Urrutia will then snake his way, nearly put the left sides in the grass, trying to defend Juan Pedrojita. Pedrojita about a car length behind through turns 3 and 4. Here they come out of turn number 4. They're going to see the white flag. It's Santi Urrutia, the driver from Uruguay, trying to hold on. Colton Herta is entertaining getting involved in this battle, but it's Santi Urrutia into turn number 1.
Really moves to the bottom of the racetrack to disrupt the air. That allows him to pull out from Pedrojita to about 10 car lengths. Looking pretty good for Santi Urrutia as he enters turn number 3.
What a pass, what a drive for the driver from Uruguay, Santi Urrutia, through turns 3, out of turn number 4. He's going to see the checkered flag, and the driver from Uruguay is going to win here at Gateway Motorsports Park. He'll take Brian Bellardi's organization to victory lane as Juan Pedrojita comes home in 2nd. Colton Herta finishes 3rd, and Kyle Kaiser finishes 4th. He's going to leave here with a 31-point advantage. Not enough to clinch the championship, but Davey, those guys are going to celebrate. All they have to do is start the race at Watkins Glen, and the title is theirs.
Yeah, I think it was at 33 to absolutely clinch it. It's at 31, so it's all but done at this point right now. They're celebrating down there for sure, but what a great run. Urrutia and Pedrojita, what a great back and forth run. They both respect each other, both gave each other a good clean day. That was fun to watch.